Aloha folks, my name is Spoonks, and 2020 has finally ended, thank God. What a miserable year that was. And now we can finally move on to a much, hopefully, better year, as this year is looking a little more promise, but all we can do is hope. But for now, I think it's the best time to talk about my top 10 favorite movies of the year. And I know in my last box office chat video I said I would talk about the both best and worst, but seeing how 2020 was such a miserable year, and I felt that I would just be reiterating its awfulness by restating my thoughts on some really bad movies, and I really wanted to end this year off positively, so which is why we are only doing a best of list this year. But if you're really curious as to seeing what I thought were the worst of the worst last year, then I highly suggest you go over to my Letterboxd page and check out my 2020 ranked list, where you'll find everything ranked from best to worst after you watch this video, because you clearly want to see what I thought was the best of the best. And before we can officially jump onto the top 10 list, I would like to discuss one honorable mention I have, and that is The King of Staten Island. While it is way too long and contains scenes and characters that feel unnecessary and pointless, this movie's a fun one. It's funny, it's got great characters, and I applaud the writing for making what is basically just another coming-of-age story into something really smart and insightful. And while unfortunately it didn't make the list, I definitely think it's still worth the mention. And now with that out of the way, get ready folks, because this is the top 10 best movies of 2020. Number 10. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. And also, yes, that is the only time I'm going to say the title fully. While this feels more like a Harley Quinn spin-off movie / sequel to Suicide Squad than a Birds of Prey movie, and we don't really get to know the full group of Birds of Prey fully, causing some of them to feel a little underdeveloped, I still had a ton of fun with this movie. I love the style of the movie, and I love the way it tells its story. The characters are all likable despite being a little underdeveloped, my favorite being Huntress. It's really funny, and it's got a lot of great action sequences in it too. And keep in mind, this movie is rated R, so some of these action sequences are a little violent, bloody, and while I am a little sad that the movie did underperform at the box office, I'm very glad that the movie got quite the cult following as it went on, as many people are seeking this movie out thanks to the pandemic and allowing this movie to be able to stream and checking this movie out when they didn't get the chance to. Quite graphic. So get a sandwich and take flight, cause Birds of Prey is quite alright. Oh my god, I just realized that rhymed. Holy crap. Number 9. We Bare Bears the movie. Okay, I'm counting this because I had to pay for it and rent it on Fandango now, and I really needed to see something in July. Regardless, We Bare Bears the movie is a fitting conclusion to this great series. Sure, it feels like it's moving by way too fast due to the runtime, the villain is weak, and I wish we could have seen some more of the supporting characters from the show, but this is still a great movie in all. It's funny, sweet, the dynamic between the three bears is great and adorable, and surprisingly intense, with a climax that I did not expect to see in a We Bare Bears movie, honestly. If you're a fan of the show, I highly recommend you guys go check it out, and if you are interested, definitely start off with the show, because like I said, this is basically the series finale, and starting the show from this would be a little awkward. But still, it's a great conclusion to a great show. Oh yeah, and they're doing that spin-off. Oh well, this is still a great movie though. Number 8. Love and Monsters. What could have easily been some goofy kids flick turned out to be something really fun and surprisingly heartfelt. Sure, some of the designs on the monsters are a little goofy. I wish there was more time spent on Ariana Greenblatt and Michael Rooker's characters, and the villains are very forced, but this is honestly one of the biggest surprises of the year. It's got really well developed characters, the world building's great, it's hilarious, and surprisingly heartfelt and sweet. This one kind of flew under the radar because it was released on video on demand and was very poorly marketed. So if you haven't gotten the chance to watch this movie, please give it a watch because I thoroughly enjoyed this movie and I would really appreciate it if you guys go check it out. Number 7. Bad Boys for Life, one of the few long-awaited sequels that exceeds on the predecessors, as this movie is action-packed, the two leads have great chemistry, Martin Lawrence steals the show, it's hilarious and a ton of fun. Yeah, not every joke lands, and near the end of the movie, I will admit, it started to lose me a little, and it started to drag on for a little long. But despite those flaws, I definitely think this was a great start to a very terrible year. And with those reasons stated and more, I think this movie definitely earned the title of highest grossing movie of 2020 and a thoroughly good movie overall. Even though it had little to no competition and its only major competitor was Sonic the Hedgehog, but still earned it. Number 6. Bill and Ted Face the Music. While it doesn't exceed its predecessors, this is still a worthy addition to the Bill and Ted trilogy. While not every joke lands, some plot lines feel unfinished and the ending is very abrupt, I found this movie to be very entertaining. The chemistry between Bill and Ted are really good. The characters, both old and new, are very entertaining. It's hilarious, and it's one of the most positive, wholesome, sweetest movies of the year. What else can I say except this movie was most excellent, dudes. Number 5. Bad Trip. Thanks to Amazon and other methods, this movie was released to the public for a limited time offer, and I was one of the few people who got the chance to see it early before it inevitably releases on Netflix, and I was not disappointed. This is basically a jackass movie mixed with a generic road trip buddy comedy movie, and it actually manages to make it work. I love how the story intertwines the buddy road trip storyline with the over the top silly pranks in a way that felt natural and organic. The characters are all likable, and the actors did a really good job staying in character, especially Tiffany Haddish, and this movie is insanely funny, especially one prank that goes so insane and so wild I could not stop laughing that it hurt my stomach. Definitely check this out when it releases on Netflix eventually. Number 4. Borat's subsequent movie film. So this movie was rumored for a while, then there was leaks of it supposing happen, and then it was actually confirmed with only 2 months away from its release, and it would eventually become the most controversial movie of the year. Well, second controversial, to only second to Trolls World Tour, but that's a story you've probably heard before. But also one of the year's best. Hands down the funniest movie of the year. The pranks and gags and the banter between Borat and his daughter Tutar are hilarious and cracked me up. The performances are great, with Maria Bakalova being Oscar worthy, and the movie's not afraid to make you feel uncomfortable. And I also really love the message about sexism in the US. What else can I say except that this movie is very nice? I'm sorry, that was an awful impression. I do apologize. Let's just move on to number 3, shall we? Number 3. Onward. Now, if there's one movie that got screwed over due to this pandemic, it was definitely this, and the box office shows, from it having its release date be just 2 weeks before the world just stopped and was put on pause, and to it having to be forced to move to Disney Plus. It's so unfortunate that this movie got the reception it got box office wise, because this is a fantastic movie. While it does have some cliche moments and it does take a while for things to get started, and the designs on some of the creatures is a bit iffy, it's a great movie. The brother dynamic between the two leads is great. The characters are lovable. It's really funny, it's heartwarming, and it might even leave you a little teary-eyed by the film's ending credits. While it's not one of Pixar's best, it is certainly still great nonetheless. If you've got Disney Plus, definitely check it out. Number 2. Wolfwalkers. Cartoon Saloon has had a pretty impressive track record with just 2 movies so far, with Secret of Kells and Song of the Sea receiving critical praise by all who see them, and Wolfwalkers is definitely a worthy addition to that legacy, because this is a fantastic movie. The characters are all endearing, especially the 2 leads who just have great chemistry together. It's intense, heartwarming, funny, and has some of the most beautiful 2D animation, from the designs of the characters to the backgrounds and even the lighting, all just beautiful. If you've got Apple TV Plus, then by all means check this movie out. It is an amazing, fantastic movie that I urge you all to see. But it wasn't the number 1 movie of the year, even with all the praise I'm giving it. And you're probably asking yourself, what is that movie that you're claiming is better than Wolfwalkers? Well, let's find out.
No, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep this resolution.
That's okay. I like you just the way you are. Happy New Year, Candace.
Happy New Year, Jeremy.
Number 1. Soul. If Onward was fantastic and Wolfwalkers was beautiful, then this is phenomenal. Pixar knocks it out of the park again with this beautiful, poignant movie about the meaning of life and what your purpose should be rather than what you think it should be. With amazing animation, lovable characters, mature themes and messages that honestly made me question if this is really a kids movie, and with a beautiful, hopeful ending that teared me up a little, I see no other reason why Soul is not the best movie of the year. But maybe it's not for you, and maybe none of the movies I mentioned on this list are on your top 10 list. And that's quite alright. This is my list and these are my opinions, and I look forward to seeing what your favorite movies of the year were. So feel free to leave in the comments below what your favorite movies of the year. And I just want to say thank you for watching my videos. 2020 was, like I said, a painful year to get through. So even the smallest amount of views means a lot to me. So thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to talking about even more movies this year, because this year is especially crowded, and there's going to be a lot to talk about this year, especially with how all the movies got delayed. So stay tuned for that. Will the movies released this year be better than the ones released this year? Will they stay in this year or get delayed even further? Will the first movie I see this year be the live-action Tom and Jerry movie? Only time will tell. But until then, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links at the end of the video. And even though we're in a new year and we're all very hopeful and optimistic this will be better, we are still a long way from this pandemic being ended. So please wear a mask, follow safety guidelines, socially distance yourself, and stay sharp. 'Cause you know it's a new